morning. I applaud all of you for getting up this morning and realizing that we moved the clocks forward. Welcome to UUCC, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Canandaigua. We are a group of spiritual thinkers who gather to celebrate life, build community, and better the world. And wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. I'm Carrie Teague, despite the fact that I forgot my name tag at home, your worship associate for this morning. And the service today will be led by Asha Gosselin. Thank you to everyone on this morning's worship team, including music by Bill Mills and religious education for children 3 and over by Carrie Ross McGuire and Kaya Mills. If this is your first visit, welcome. We invite you to sign the visitor's book in the entryway, and whether it's your first visit or your 1,000th, we are glad that you came. The service is also being live streamed on our YouTube channel. We plan on continuing with hybrid worship services so you can join us each week here in person, on Zoom, or later on YouTube. To help us connect better with our friends watching from home, please turn around and give a wave to the camera in the back. And at the end of the service, we will invite our friends on Zoom to turn on their cameras and return the wave. I have a few announcements to share with you today. To help make the most of our time together, event details can be found in the printed announcements in the back of the room on the bulletin board on the right, or in the weekly email. If you have a joy or sorrow to share, please fill out the slip of paper on or near your seat, and we invite you to bring them forward and place them into the basket. There's a basket. The basket after Bill rings the chimes and begins to play. Maybe I shouldn't put it by the fire. Like that. It's a bad plan. All right, well, we'll stick it. It's here. Okay. You can also come forward and just drop a pebble or a shell into the water if you have a joy or sorrow that you prefer not to share. Please join us after the service today for our second Sunday potluck. Whether you brought a dish to share or not, you are welcome to stay. We always have plenty. As a way to tie together our food-related justice work, we will ask the children for help collecting shelf-stable food items during the offering on potluck Sundays. Don't worry if you forgot to bring something today, because I did too. The kids are going to come around with a wagon, wheeling it around, and we can place our stuff in the baskets if you remember to bring something. Thanks to everyone who brought food. Geneva Women's Assembly and Students for Humanitarian Justice are hosting an event today at 22 Castle Street in Geneva, including lunch at 12:30, so you can have potluck and then an hour later be eating in Geneva. It's a skills building workshop from 1 to 4, and then there's a rally and a march at City Hall at 4 p.m., free to attend, and children are welcome. Save the date. Saturday, April 4th at 10 a.m. will be our annual Easter egg hunt, and if you've been here for that in the past, it's really fun. We will need volunteers for a variety of roles, buying candy, other fillers, people to stuff eggs, and event day egg hiders, which is actually, I think, the most fun. The fundraising committee, so it's fundraising committee, we'll host a regeneration celebration for friends and neighbors on Sunday, May 3rd at noon. There'll be seeds, sprouts, and more to welcome the growing season. We are asking the congregation to bring your best upcycled craft to sell at the event. To prepare your wares, join us during potluck on April 12th for a BYO craft day. Ooh, that sounds fun. Okay, I'm in. No need to purchase new things. We can swap supplies and ideas. Are there any other announcements for the good of the community? Pat.
So March 22nd will be the kickoff Sunday for our annual pledge drive. And to celebrate, we'll be serving a continental breakfast before church. So please plan on coming a little bit early and enjoy food, coffee, and connection. See you about 9:30.
That's the 22nd?
The 22nd.
As we prepare for our upcoming pledge drive, various members are sharing why our church is important to them, and today's Canvas moment will be presented by Nancy Reed. How are you, Nancy? Either one.
Hi. I thought I can just say this. I don't need notes, but I'm a little fuzzy-headed today. I'm glad that you're a very forgiving group. It's one of the reasons I love it here. 4 times in the last year, I've had an opportunity to really feel very proud of being a member of this church. One was last May when Bob died, and we had a memorial service for him, and I had a chance to share with neighbors that didn't know him as well, and his family that didn't know this church as well, and put them together and show them how much this church meant to me and my sharing this with Bob for all those years. And then in July, I had some family visiting. My granddaughter's married to a young man it's a wonderful family. She has 3 little kids, and they're very Catholic. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if the oldest one's going to be a priest one of these days. But on our way out to visit a monastery out west of town, I asked if we could stop here. And I wanted to show the kids especially, what another church looked like. And I really felt good about coming in here. They saw the wiggle rug over there, and they saw the wheel of the seasons that we turn, and I talked about what we had to offer for children in this church. And they had an idea what church could look like that's different. I wasn't trying to make them change, but I felt good about talking about it and sharing that part of me. And then a couple of months ago, my memoir group met here for a luncheon, and I felt good about all the beautiful ways we've made this a comfortable place for us, with the beautiful kitchen and the ability to serve food and share that with the community and have this be a space that's available. And then the last couple of weeks, I brought some young friends with me who are looking for a church, something that works for them. One of them is married to a young Muslim man. And I felt good about who we are, what we say about people and the community that we want to support, and this goes along a little bit with feeling good about last week's folks from the larger church community that came to tell us what good work we could work towards. I felt pretty good about how we've gotten pretty far towards a lot of that. So that's why I support this church as much as I can, and I hope you do too. Thank you.
Please take some time over the next 2 weeks to think about UUCC's role in your life and how you can support its future financially. As we prepare to be fully together, I remind you to silence your phones and any devices that might beep or buzz. We now enter a space of worship. And now is the time to bring forward any joys or sorrows or come up to drop a pebble. And now it's time to light our chalice. So Kelly, would you like to help me? All right. So the trail is you just use this. And it goes right there. Please join me in our chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. Life is beacon of hope, sign of our blessed and meaning, and celebration of the life we share together.
Good morning, good people. Good morning. So good to be here with all of you. I'm offering today's service on the topic of body as a site of revelation. And when I refer to body today, I refer to each one of your individual bodies with all the sense capacities available to you. I also refer to body as a site of politic. For in this very much polarizing world, there is no body here that is neutral. I'm also gesturing towards our collective human body on the shared body of this earth. In Revelation 4, I hear it as the muddy season. In fact, as I walked in, I noticed it was kind of the muddy season. And I hear that for all of you, and now I'm experiencing this too, the muddy season is an exploration of truth. As Carrie mentioned, my name is Asha Goslin. I use user pronouns. You're also welcome to use my name. And I'm here today in a body that has survived so much that I haven't chosen. And perhaps you are too. Today, I invite you to use this service as a space for practice that your body, as well as your mind, may offer to you, and in fact, perhaps to all of us, both those who are gathered here today, you who are watching online, and for folks who are eventually watching the recording. What if your body could be a site of multiplicity of truth in and through the body? How you do this is up to you. There's no one right way. That would kind of be redundant, wouldn't it? You might choose to notice sensations in your body, such as where your feet are connected to the floor, and underneath the floor, perhaps that primary support of the earth. If you prefer, you might notice the temperature of the air, maybe where fabric connects to your skin. You might choose not to notice your body in any of these ways. If it's interesting to you, perhaps throughout this service, you might notice how music, lyrics, and words land in your body. Maybe in your belly, perhaps in your heart. Maybe it's in your head, or the space around your head, the space around your body. What sensations are present, and what might they be communicating to you? In my work as a somatic therapist, I offer invitations such as these for the purpose of exploring what is true both for myself, for you, and for our more than human world, all the ways that we relate to each other. Right here, right now, based on what is felt and understood through our bodies, bodies that do not lie. They don't lie. They hold echoes of the past in our fibers of being and concerns for the future, especially in this very much world right now. Yet, right here and now, can we notice what is alive and what is real, what is moving through us, both in our own beings and the space between us, in the space of our togetherness. If you'd like, you may rise in body or in spirit to join our opening hymn. Make channels for the streams of love. Number 299 in the hymnal.
Has
can do what I want. Okay. The power of a story. I can do what I want. So I have exactly one children's book in my house, and now I get to share it with all of you. And it's called The Invisible String. Is anyone familiar with this? Yes? Oh my goodness. Well, if there's anyone who wants to get a little bit closer, there's some cute pictures in here too. It's entirely your choice. You can also stay right where you are. So this is a story by Patrice Kirst. To all the children of the world and the magic of their strings. So Liz and Jeremy, the twins, were asleep one calm and quiet night, and then all of a sudden it wasn't super calm. Suddenly it began to rain very hard. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud that it woke the twins up. "Mommy, Mommy," they cried out as they ran to her. There's a cat too. "Don't worry, you two. It's just a storm making all that noise. Go back to bed." "But we want to stay close to you," said Jeremy. "We're scared." Understandable. Mom said, "You know we'll always be together, no matter what." "But how can we be together when you're in here and we're supposed to go to bed out there?" said Liza, not very convinced. That's when Mom held something in front of them and said, "This is how." They rubbed their sleepy eyes, and the twins came closer to see what Mom was holding. And she said, "I was about your age when my mom first told me about the invisible string." "I don't see a string," said Jeremy. He's very observant. "You don't need to see the invisible string," said Mom. "People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love." "But if you can't see it, how do you know it's there?" asked Liza. "Even though you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it with your heart and know that you'll always be connected to everyone that you love." When you're at school and you miss me, your love travels all the way along the string until it tugs on my heart, and I can feel it. And when you tug it back, we feel it in our hearts, said Jeremy. Does Jasper the cat have an invisible string? Does anybody have a cat at home or a dog? Do you think they have invisible strings of love? Yeah. She sure does, says Mom. Pretty smart mom. And best friends like me and Lucy, asked Liza. Best friends too. How far can the string reach? Well, that's a very logical question. Mom says anywhere and everywhere. We got to test this theory out though. Would it reach me even if I was in a submarine? Deep inside the ocean, asked Jeremy. Yeah, said Mom, even there. Or a mountain climber like Mount Everest? Yep, even there. What about being a ballerina in France? Even there. Jungle explorer? Yep, even there. What about an astronaut way out in space? Yep, even there. Then Jeremy asked quietly, can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian in heaven? Yes, even there. Does the string ever go away? Nope, not when you're mad at us. Never. Love is stronger than anger, and as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. You might notice that the twins got into the cookies. Mom's mad, but the love is still there. Even when you get older and you can't agree about things like which movie to see or who gets to ride in the front seat of the car, hot commodity, or what time it is to go to bed. Oh, that's right, you two should be in bed. And with that, they all laughed as Mom chased the twins back to their beds. Within a few minutes, they were asleep, even though the storm was still really loud outside. As they slept, they started to dream of all of the invisible strings all of the strings that their friends have, and their friends have, and their family members have, and everyone in the world was connected by invisible strings. And from deep inside, they now could clearly see. No one is ever truly alone. My invisible string to you.
I hadn't heard that story before. I love that. Thank you. Now's the time in our service to join together in the spiritual practice of generosity. Our gifts of both time and money support our church in its work. Each week, we would like to spotlight a group or committee and thank them for their gift of time. And this week, the group is the Worship Committee. Especially thanks to Danielle and all she does to organize services each and every week. It is a huge job. So if anybody wants to volunteer to help out with that, please talk to Danielle. It also includes the folks working tech in other tech in the back. And we could definitely use some more people volunteering to learn how to do the tech. If you tend to be at all tech savvy, that would be awesome. And then worship associate stuff. And then also folks to do some of the services, because we have lay services roughly once a month and all summer. So if any of that interests you, talk to Danielle. Okay. You can give to this morning's offering by placing cash or check into the basket or by one of the options on the screen. Please make a note that your gift is intended for today's offering. We now gratefully accept the offering.
Everyone neath the vine and fig tree shall live in peace, unafraid. And everyone neath the vine and fig tree shall live in peace and unafraid. And into plowshares turn their swords, nations shall learn. And into plowshares turn their swords, nations shall learn.
Does anybody have food? Raise your hand if you do, so that I can know where to go.
That's a lot of checks. Honestly, the getting up earlier alone. Yeah, you gotta give it to yourself.
I am in awe of those of you who not only remember to get up early today, but brought canned goods.
Remind you, I'll get better.
Well, I should have as well, so there you go. It's a forgiving crowd, though, so it's all good. So I saw lots of pebbles going into the column of water, but I only have one joy or sorrow that was asked to be shared with the congregation. And it was asked to be shared anonymously. But one of our congregants has a huge heartache for the war in Iran and the surrounding areas. And I think many of us hold that in our hearts. So I'm going to drop another pebble and stone for anything that remains in our hearts and for all those that were entered there before that remain unknown to the rest of our congregation. And please, as I drop it in, repeat with me, we are with you. We are with you. At this time, if there are any children who would like to attend religious education, please go downstairs with Kaya and Carrie, the other Carrie. Go down in peace, go down in peace. May the love of all surround you everywhere,
Now is time for a shared centering moment as well as some silence. And by shared silence, I hear that we mean the absence of grown-ups talking to one another. So let us get comfortable in our seats, and it's your choice. You might have your eyes open or your eyes closed. At any time, you can make another choice. You might choose to notice your breath. You might notice when you're breathing, when you're inhaling, when you're exhaling. If it's interesting to you, you might notice where your body is supported by the chair behind your back, perhaps the floor under your feet. If you'd like, you might tune into your sense of sound and maybe extending your sense of sound to the farthest point that you can in the distance. Perhaps on your next inhale, calling your sense of sound closer into our building and noticing the layers of sound as they move through space to meet your ears. There might be some sounds that are interesting. There might be some sounds that are not very interesting. Perhaps on your next inhale, calling awareness closer to your own sounds, perhaps the sounds of thoughts as they move through the field of your mind. Perhaps any sounds that your body makes as you move or adjust. Perhaps the sound of your breath as it moves through your body. Taking about 30 seconds in silence to notice anything or nothing at all. There might be the absence of sensation. There's no right or wrong. It's your choice how to be in silence and in centering. We do not come into this world as blank vessels. What our ancestors experienced made imprints on our genetics that have passed down through the family line to us. There's a study with mice, a 2013 study from Emory University, that found that mice exposed to cherry blossom odor that was paired with an electric shock passed the inherited instinctual fear on to their offspring for at least 2 generations. Indigenous ways of being invite us to tend to our bodies and the body of the land as stewards for the next 7 generations. We come into this world with imprints, and then the world imprints upon us. Our bodies hold so much within them. If you'd like, as I offer this reading, you might notice how it lands in your body. Our body's felt sense and our understanding of truth, it depends on how little or how much the intersecting elements of our identity such as our race, our gender or sexual identity, our immigration status, our body size and its abilities, are either protected or threatened by interlocking systems of oppression. Systems such as racism, transmisia and homomisia, the hatred and fear, the hatred of trans people and LGBTQ people as an alternative to the fear of them, violent capitalism, misogyny, and systems of immigration and incarceration. Thus, our experiences of embodiment are intrinsically impacted by how little or how much we do or do not have access to a felt sense of being seen, heard, and validated by the systems of power in the context in which we live. I know that's a lot of words. The way it lands in my body is that we come into this world having a body. But there are so many things that push us away from the practice of embodiment. Embodiment is the felt sense of being in a body, in space and in time, with other bodies. There are so many things that push us up, that push us out. As a yoga teacher, I learned that the way that we as children sit in chairs from a very young age actually shortens our hamstrings. I promised I was going to tell this story before your hamstring, Carrie. It actually shortens our hamstrings, which makes it harder for us to move. Even as children, the systems by which we are sitting and learning start to impact our bodies. And for the children who can't sit quietly, what do we do to them if not pathologize them? There's something wrong with you. Why can't you be quiet and sit still? I don't know if any of you were a child once, but that's really hard. What choice do we have as children when it's either sit quietly, be the good kid, be the good girl, be the good boy, be rewarded for that, but at what cost, if not our own embodiment? I'm uncomfortable, I want to move, I want to run, I don't want to be confined to a certain space. How do we make that confinement happen, if not by numbing our own impulses, our own drives for autonomy? And I promise I'm not here to, tear down the whole system or anything. I know we need our education system. I'm very grateful for teachers, but I come here with curiosity. What is the impact on our bodies? What happens over the course of years when we are called not to stay present here, but to focus wider, focus outward on being good outwardly? What's sacrificed? And not just within us, right? Because when there's some type of severing that happens from our own impulses, our own needs, how does that move outward between other bodies, the bodies of other children? And then as we grow into adults, what happens? If I'm outwardly focused on taking care and managing other people's feelings, what happens in here? Is that truly care? If I don't know what my needs are, how can I really meet you in your need? In this very much world, I know it's so much to feel, let alone feel all the time. I'm not recommending it by any means, right? We have to have some capacity to both move in the world, be of the world and not of the world, right? To move and imagine timelines of possibility into the future. But I keep wondering, what can it be like to come back again and again to the site of our bodies as a site of truth? What is for me? What is not for me? What leads me to move forward in a way that offers alignment both in my body and in my life? Maybe you have answers to those types of questions. I'm still figuring it out. I notice pain in my body quite often. And when I have enough space and, the dishes are all done and I'm fed, all of those types of things, sometimes I get enough capacity for curiosity. Where does the pain come from? Is it from the pushing through, the relentless pushing through? There's always more bills to pay. There's always more tasks to complete. Is there not a way to stay in body while also tending to those very much things? I promise I'm not going to talk about the news super much, but how can we not in this world, right? How can we be conscious and aware humans, aware beings in this very much timeline without being flooded to the point of numbness, right? Just like in movement practices, there's a continuum of stillness and movement. Can there also be a continuum of the right amount of knowing so that we can take it in and be aware of what's happening to our neighbors and our community members without getting so flooded that we become paralyzed? I don't know if that's something anyone else has experienced over the past number of years, but there's so much that we can care about. How do we focus? How can we move from compassion? I get curious about, as a white-bodied person, I get curious about what our work is, what my work is in the world. Resma Menakem is a trauma expert. He wrote My Grandmother's Hands. And his invitation to white-bodied people is to feel the fear, to feel the rage, really to feel, period. So if you'd like, I'd like to offer this invitation to all of us. What does it feel like to be in your body? Is it an uncomfortable experience? Is it on the continuum of discomfort to comfort? Another question might be a bit more esoteric, so I'm going to offer it a little bit through my own felt sense. What does oppression feel like? My experience of oppression is a pressing down, a weight, a constriction, a collapse from the spaciousness of connection between myself and other humans in the more than human worlds, a compression, a pressing down. When I say the word oppression, how does it land in your body? Does it land in your body? Does it land somehow in the space around your body? And then, of course, when I have enough capacity, I get curious. What is the opposite of oppression? If that is a pressing down, what is the opposite? I'd be curious what your answer is. For me, it comes from a feeling of that widening again. Not with eyes closed and senses shut to the many horrors of the world, but a sense of here now capacity. This is for me to do. This is what my body says yes to. Is it a little edgy? Generally, yeah. But it's not so flooded to the point of fear and terror and shutdown and numbness. The opposite of oppression, maybe a word for it is liberation. It says, here now, this is how I can move. That's my experience. When I'm in right relationship and right alignment, right? What would your experience be? One thing I really enjoy about embodiment practices is it really, at the end of the day, drops us into our own shared humanity. There's a nerve, maybe you're familiar with it. Sometimes it's called the soul nerve. It's also medically called the vagus nerve complex. And it starts at the very base of our spine and it runs all the base of our head all the way down to our tailbone, other opposite base of our spine. And it's connected throughout our whole system. Our digestive system is connected to the soul nerve. It also regulates our heartbeat, right? Rosamund Menachem talks about how the soul nerve, when we're feeling calm and connected, that's because the vagus nerve complex, right? And when we're feeling activated, the fight or flight response, when we're feeling shut down towards each other, defensive, that's also the vagus nerve complex. And the thing you'll notice, since it sort of starts right here at the base of our spine, that's our reptilian brain. And by that I mean, it's not connected to our thinking brain, friends. It's not connected here. When our vagus nerve is activated, shutting us down, restricting us, that feeling that maybe we have in response to oppression, we can't think our way into freedom. The only way is to feel our way, to move our bodies with something safe. And sometimes that can be another person. Sometimes it could be your cat or your dog, your animals. Any mammal will do. Sometimes it can be the more than human worlds, the earth. Connection is our only way out of the numbness and oppression of this very much world. And by that I mean, my girlfriend might roll her eyes, we must love each other. We must love each other through the very muchness into our own bodies. What that looks like is going to be different for each one of you. How can we love each other into the world that we want? How can we love each other into the people that we want to become? I don't really have answers for any of these things. I just have this felt sense that there has to be answers that we are living into together. How do we love, not as concept, but as embodied people? How do we care for each other? I've seen some of the ways that you care for each other in the collection of canned goods and food, shelf-stable food. I'm imagining that's going into caring for our neighbors. And y'all know I chose to come here today because there's a potluck happening. So I'm feeling very cared for. These are ways of extending care to one another. Again, I don't have answers, but I wonder, how do we end the war playing out within us and between us, if not through love, embodied truth, and care? Thank you.
Love makes a bridge that winds may shake and not destroy. Love carries faith through life and death to endless joy.
It's a radical choice to move towards experiencing your body as a source of wisdom, a place of living truth and guidance. There's no right or wrong way in this very much world. Numbness and overwhelm sometimes make sense. This is an ongoing, moment-by-moment choice. So I leave you with these questions and these times. How can we care for our own bodies with compassion? The bodies of our families, our neighbors, and the body of the earth. How can we love each other into who we want to become? How can we today care for our bodies as truth so that our future generations can feel that love? How can we be living ancestors and stewards of this world? If you'd like, you're welcome to rise in body or spirit and join us in our closing hymn, Immortal Love, number 10 in the hymnal.
Immortal love forever
If you're with us on Zoom and would like to wave goodbye at the end of the service, you can turn on your camera now. Please join me in our words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.